This is 20 litres of Feints. I've been collecting it up for a while now, and that means it's time for an all Feints run. Or, as we call it around here, a Chimera run. How's it going, chasers? I hope you're having a kick-ass week. I'm Jesse, and this is Still It, the channel all about chasing the craft of home distillation and making it a legitimate hobby. So, Feints, guys. I got a whole lot of Feints, and it's time to run them. Pretty simple, really. I've done this exact same thing once in the past, and after that, the community decided that we would call it a Chimera run, specifically for the Still It channel. And the reason for that is that basically it's a mishmash of whole different things put together to create one monster. And that's what we're going to be doing today. But if you want to go back and check out what happened on the last Chimera run, you can click up here to do so. Last time I decided to separate the beginning and the end of the run into two different spirits because it was so different from each other, the beginning and the end. I'm not going to do that today. I've got no idea what this holds in store for us, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to take a heads cut and run out all into the same pot and just see what happens. If it all totally turns to shit, that's cool. I can always turn it into neutral later on, right? Anyway, the still's ready. It's in pot still mode. I just need to get this into the pot, get heated up, and start collecting. Stop the B-roll! Hold your horses. I forgot to say, that was a crappy spin. Let's do that again. There we go. The stuff's sitting at about 60%, so I'm going to have to proof it down when I put it into the pot. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you. As you were. I should also mention too, guys, that there's some other random stuff that went into this. A bottle of vodka that came to me from my granddad when he died, because my family doesn't really drink and anything alcohol related ends up coming to me. I don't know how long this sat on this shelf for open. I was never going to drink this stuff, but it sat around because I didn't want to throw it out. And I don't know, sentimental reasons this went in for. But there was also a few random test bottles, things that I've tried, never intended on actually drinking them, but you know, they were experiments sitting around, things that I did intend on drinking and they've just sat there too long and I felt like they were going to go to waste. We are now solidly collecting, and the thing is, I've got absolutely no idea whatsoever the volume I'm going to get out of this in terms of heads, hearts, tails. I just don't know. But I do remember last time the really fun part of distilling the Chimera was trying to pull it apart and remember what went into it as it was coming off. And right now it's a touch rummy and ginny, because I did not hold back on this one. There's all sorts of stuff in there. It's kind of like a botanical gin right now, but I know that there's smoke in there as well. There's definitely some manuka, there's definitely some peat, and there's definitely some wood smoked random stuff in there. I'm hoping that's all going to show up near the tails, but who knows. This is coming off the still at about 85%, not to be honest that I'm really worried one way or the other about it, just thought I'd let you know. And for this first part of the run, whatever you want to call it, everything that I don't keep, basically I'm just going to put straight into my firelighter / cleaning bottle, because I don't see the point in collecting this again for anything else other than cleaning or firelighting. I decided to switch over to hearts and start collecting in a large buckets for this run. I collected almost 3 litres of heads, for those of you keeping track at home, and basically just the general jaggy, crazy, attack your tongue and mouthness of it has dropped off a fair bit now, and I'm going to start collecting hearts. Interesting enough too, all of the rum stuff disappeared really quickly. I was trying to remember where that came from, but I had a couple of rum-based maceration tests, rum-based macerations that just weren't getting drunk, and things like that ended up going into the pot, so I think that's where that came from. that's all gone, and I don't expect to see any more of that, unfortunately. A lot of the really bright, sort of floral, high-end ginny stuff is gone now too, and that kind of makes sense. Because it comes through at the beginning of a gin run, but we had a whole lot of heads to get rid of in this run. So a really good example of why, when you're making gin, you use a relatively clean or a well-made neutral spirit to start with, so you don't lose those flavors at the beginning. Right now we have, what do we have right now? Okay, so we're starting to get some influence from the more grainy side of things, I think. And we have, a little bit more of the earthy, heading towards the earthy sort of side of things from gin, I think. I think that's what I have now. I think what I'm going to do, guys, is just let this run out and jump on camera every now and again. And if I taste something interesting that sort of gives me a memory of what I've made in the past, or what I think it came from, I'll do so. I wanted to cut back in, guys, because there's something a little interesting happening here. It's kind of savory, but it's not. And I had been wondering if it was kind of an umami weird thing coming from, I don't know, maybe the ramen thing that we made, something like that. But I decided that it's actually not umami, and it's really not savory in any way. It's kind of the, you know how I talk about the perception of sweetness? If you give something a strawberry-ish flavor, it's almost going to taste sweet to you because you associate strawberry with being sweet. Does that make sense? I think it's like that, but with some carbohydrate flavors. So two things that are almost always considered part of a savory meal to me, rice and potato. And I think I'm getting a weird rice potato thing going on right here in the middle of the run. The feints from both of those are in this, and we're kind of getting to the middle-ish of the run now, I guess. So yeah, that's quite interesting. There's still a little bit of ginniness lingering around. You know what? No, it's almost all gone. And there is definitely some barley presence showing up now as well. This right here, what I've got now, is actually quite interesting in and of itself. And I'm really tempted to take some by itself, but I said at the beginning I was going to just run it all together. So yeah, I'll be back if I see anything else interesting going on. Oh, by the way, guys, if you do want to watch those videos, if you haven't seen the rice video, you can check it out up here. Basically, I made rice wine and distilled it. And if you haven't seen the potato vodka video, well, that surprises me because it's literally the most popular video on the channel. And you can check that out here as well. All right, guys, I'll be back soon if there's something interesting. You there? You still with us? Okay, I've got something else to tell you about. So, another flavor popped up and I could not figure out for the life of me what it was. I knew it was familiar to me. It was something that wasn't at home. It's something that wasn't a standard flavor in any spirit I could think of. And it turns out that's because it's hops. Now, I don't know. I can't remember exactly how the timing worked. But I don't remember if the actual beer that I distilled, the APA that I distilled, whether the feints from that were part of this run. But what I did put into this, which I forgot about a little while ago, emptying bottles out, was some samples from that I'd done on different woods. Never going to drink them, didn't turn out great. Threw them on into the pot. And there was actually a decent amount of that in there. There was about a litre all up. It's pretty interesting to have that flavour come up again. And it is a very, very distinctive flavour once you've had it in a spirit. Not something that is easy to remember exactly what it is, especially out of context like this, because how many times do I get a reference point for it? But interesting, nonetheless. All right, one more, guys, one more, and then I'm done, because honestly I think this is probably a little bit boring for you lot. But right now I am just starting to hit some smoke. Not full on smoke yet, but I'm starting to get some of that stuff that comes with it, and I'm hopeful that the smoke is coming very, very soon. So I'm starting to get a little bit of that real earthy, full, grungy, almost not quite leaf litter, but heading that way, and sort of bacony meatiness, which is quite interesting. Let me have another nudge. Oh yeah, just a little bit of smoke, as well. Right now it's more on the wood smoke side of things, but I'm hoping some of that South Island peat comes through as well, because that's got a really special place in my heart for stuff that I've made. Anyway, if you haven't tried doing a run like this, I would completely recommend you do so, simply because of the enjoyment that I'm getting out of running this right now. It's really, really interesting to sit here and run the still and literally have the still be a walk down memory lane of everything I've made, or some of the things that I've made where I'm good enough to pick up flavors and hope that I know what the hell I'm talking about and that's actually where they're coming from. And I'm not just making it up, because that could be happening subconsciously. But what I'm saying is, it's a nostalgic, interesting thing to do. And if you haven't done it yet, I thoroughly, thoroughly suggest you do. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let this thing run out. And then I'll meet you over on the bench to taste it as a amalgamation of all the hearts. Don't know if it's going to be good, bad, or just land kind of solidly in the middle with a weird. Here we are at the bench, guys. And this one has been sitting here for about an hour and a half after being proofed back down to 40%, just to chill, pull itself back together a little bit. Do you have a taste? And while I'm tasting this, I want you guys to think about some ideas on what you think I should do with this stuff. I have yet to decide, and I have a decent amount of it. So, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I should turn it into something else. I am in some ways considering redistilling it, because it's a little bit rough around the edges still. I am considering aging some of it. I don't know. Whatever comes to mind when I'm describing what this tastes like, drop it in the comment section down below, and I'll have a look at it. On the nose, this smells like a lightly spiced, very, very lightly botanicaled whiskey, predominantly, with some other random sort of fruit and, I don't know, just some oddness thrown in. Those hops are still there and present. That's probably the most out there flavor, with a very, very light smoke sitting underneath it. The palate is a pretty similar experience, to be perfectly honest with you. It is a little bit on the headsy side still. Just a touch. Aging it might get rid of that. Letting it sit might get rid of that. I think I was kind of hoping to capture a little bit of that slight rumminess, that heady, kind of ripe banana-y sort of thing way up in the upper end of a rum run. That was silly trying to catch that, because there was fuck all in there of it. But it's actually not unpleasant. I wouldn't drink it as a whiskey as it is now, to be honest. I don't think it offers a whole lot that other drinks don't already offer. It's a little bit kind of, just a little bit, a few different things jumbled in together, I think, which, funnily enough, is exactly what it is. Last time what I did was took the Chimera and redistilled it into a gin to kind of really turn it into, or two different gins actually, to kind of really turn it into a finished product in and of itself. And I feel like this kind of needs something like that to happen to it, because like I said, it's just sort of a little bit in limbo. I feel like this would be a nice base for either a really big wood presence, maybe. That could be kind of fun and interesting to find out what happens. Could be a really nice base to add other flavors to it. Maybe I could bump up the fruity flavor that's coming through. Maybe I could bump up the smoke. Yeah, let's not bump up the hops. Let's keep that. Let's keep that kind of chill. Although I guess we could go after it, couldn't we? We could try putting fresh hops in there somehow. I need to say a huge, huge, huge thank you to the Patreons. Thank you so much, Patreons. This glass is literally like all of the things that you've helped me create over the last, I don't even know how long now, summed up in one glass. So thank you guys. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Oh, and by the way, for the people asking Sorry, yes, the Still It coins are currently unavailable. No, they're not entirely sold out. I have a few of them left still. Problem is, logistically, it's just a nightmare now. I don't want to be posting from here and out of Texas, from Hole in the Roof, which are the people that are looking after my Glencairn glasses. I am working with them, though, to get the remainder of these over there, so I can sell out of the line from there, and then we can do version 2 of the challenge coin. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a whole lot. It really, really does. And I would very, very much appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button down below if you're watching these videos, you enjoy them and you haven't subscribed yet. And I'll catch you next time, guys. Keep on chasing the craft. See ya!